Hi, my name is Deschwanden and welcome to my CS50web Capstone project presentation. For my project, I decided to make a Django web application which mimics a medical administration system which utilizes AI to assist medical professionals in diagnosing symptoms for patients in their system. Now here is our landing page. It's just a condensed version of my README file, which can be viewed in more detail on my GitHub. But first what we want to do is we want to either register or log in into our system. We're going to do just that. Log in. All right. So this takes us directly into our patient list landing page. Here we have stubs of different patients that are already in our database, specifically only 2, but each of them has their own list of symptoms and acuity levels, which is what ranks them in order of descending preference in our chart here. If we go to our first patient, we can see that the patient has their personal details in the system, contact information, and then the visit details along with notes, prescriptions, and then tests, which can be added later. Note that for privacy, these are only available to see to users that are logged in, and in our application system would be medical professionals. All right. This application relies heavily on the use of an AI diagnosis. So what we can do is, for our patient with the symptom here, we can click on this route, and after a few seconds, it'll take us to a new page, which, after having called the Gemini API, lists the possible diagnoses based on their percentages and descending order. Each of these diagnoses can also be opened up to show different prescribed tests that can be given to the patient depending on what it thinks it needs to happen. Now, this isn't a substitute, but rather a tool that medical professionals can use to assist them in their diagnoses. And what we can do is we can add tests depending on whether we think that the patient needs them. There's feedback right away to show that the tests are added. And likewise, if we refresh the page, we've coded it so that it already knows that these tests have been previously added. Now, I don't want to do the chest x-ray, but I want to do these two. So I've added them, and if I return the patient, you can now see that we have these 2 tests now in the database for this patient. Likewise, if I decide, or the user decides that they want to remove any of them, now that when we go into the edit page, we can see that we can easily remove the test, update it, and it's gone from the system. Likewise, if we go to another patient, we can go to the second patient here, we see they have different symptoms, and if we go to the AI diagnosis page, it does take a couple of seconds at first, but we get a new set of tests. Now, these are ones that I've added before, but we can add some more, return the patient, and then return the patient, and they're in the system. Now, it did take a couple of seconds on the first call, but if we return back into the list, because it is in local storage, it goes a lot faster on each subsequent travel through the route than it would than on that first call. This is because doing a call to the Gemini API through every route travel was too time intensive and token intensive, that this workaround works really nicely and only sacrifices a couple of seconds at the start of each time the symptoms, either the patient changes or if I were to update any of these symptoms, because with new symptoms then the new symptoms would get into the new diagnosis call, and then I would get a new set of diagnoses here. Lastly, just to show that the app is mobile responsive, if we go into, let's say, an iPhone 14 here, we see that everything is quite clean and works quite well in the context of a phone. So, thank you very much for watching, and wish you a great day.